So how long have you been doing this for?
It's 2 years. It's anniversary this week.
Oh, really?
2-year anniversary. Just saying just a moment ago that it's absolutely changed my life.
Oh, really?
It's taken me all over the world. It's growing and I enjoy it. Discovering new things all the time.
So, I mean, presumably you've got your own channel and this is part of that.
So I have, it started out just on YouTube, but it's now on Spotify, Amazon, Apple. It's on all the podcast platforms as well. It's on all the social media platforms.
Right.
So I put out a long form episode, which is pretty much uncut. It's the conversation, because that's what it's in. People seem to like it. People seem to like listening into a conversation.
Yeah.
So I put that long form out there, but then I do the short form as well. So I cut up the episodes into little clips.
Okay, fine.
And I put that out there as well. So, but we're here today to find out about you guys and to find out about the companies that you run. Called, I want to make sure I pronounce it correctly.
Yeah. Chordal Green.
Chordal Green.
Yeah, that's effectively the main company. So that's what started, sort of 15, 20 years ago. And then we're sort of at the point now we're doing sort of offshoots of that. So there's Albury House Interiors, which is the other one we started recently. But it's how we're developing that, and that's why we're here to kind of go through those sort of processes, and this is what we're doing really.
Okay, nice. And so what's your position within the companies? Are you both the owners of the companies, managing directors?
Well, we are now, as in Rick is now. So I started it effectively. And then Rick's came on board sort of, I don't know, 10 or so years ago or 12 years ago. And
it's
so
a little longer than that now.
Probably 15 years ago. and now he's the director of the company. So he kind of like, worked, we kind of run it together effectively.
And so what is the business to you then? What is the business? Is it a family thing?
It is now because
you're very much invested.
It is now because effectively Ricky and his family have now taken over the business. So originally there was myself, and let's say Ricky started, but then Ricky then brought his friend Josh, and then Ricky's brother started, Steph, and then Ricky's other brother started, Ali, and then Ali's girlfriend now works there.
So you've got everyone.
And then there's
pretty much the whole family now,
so it's kind of grown from that way. So where Ricky just started as an apprentice and Josh started as an apprentice, and we started very early on and at that point we didn't know exactly where we were going within the business, but they've helped kind of like characterize what we're doing and help set up what we've been doing, which is why now Rick's running it with me.
How does that feel for you, Ricky? What's that like, bringing in all these family members?
Well, it's hard working family for starters, anyway.
Okay, yeah. I can do it. Well, I do sometimes actually. Tell a lie.
Yeah, two brothers is quite tricky to work with, but it's quite a good blend of people, I think, and definitely skill sets. And what we've kind of done over the last, over the years and stuff is been quite a rewarding thing to be part of. So we're kind of happy with where we are at the moment, but we just want to develop. We've got Albury House now. I want to try and develop that and try and do a few things really. And it's quite nice really. Mark and I work actually surprisingly well together, even though Mark is quite difficult to work with sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that.
So it's been quite a fun experience really to get to where we are now. So, just want to try and do some other stuff now.
Tell me a little bit about so we touched on it's tough at times working with people, working with family, working with each other.
I think the industry is tough as well.
Is that what it is?
Well, probably everyone says that about every industry they work in, but I think certainly what we do and where we work in the industry, I think ultimately, it's very difficult doing something different for every single project, and every single project we do is different. Yes. So it's not like you can format a system and work to that system. Every single project we work on will have elements on it which we probably haven't done before. That's part of the challenge, and that's kind of what keeps it interesting. But at the same time, it's really difficult to keep reinventing stuff and working stuff out and working those processes out every single time you do projects.
Yes, yeah.
So it's hard work from that point of view.
That is probably the most tricky part about it, is that every single item that comes through the workshop door or that is discussed internally is bespoke. So it is just a one-off item, and trying to mechanize that is actually quite difficult. And like I said, the industry is actually, you're working not just with bespoke items, but there's personalities and people involved in other companies and, contractors and stuff. It is just a difficult thing to be involved in.
And on top of that, you've also got like the normal thing of running a business, which is running a business, so like, it's no more difficult than anything else, but it has their own difficulties.
You've got that product that you're trying to supply, and you've got that thing that you're trying to make, but you're also trying to make sure that you've mentioned you bring in family into this, that you're paying people's wages, people that you care about. And so you've got to manage that much about them.
We're living nice.
He probably cares a bit more than I do, right? But I mean, I do care about them, and it is again, it's a small company, so it is actually like, everyone is really important within that setup. So it is, whether you are part of Rick's family or not part of Rick's family, it's still family business, at its core, really.
Yeah. So what do you see for this business? What is it when you wake up each day and you set out to do your work? What is it that you're most looking forward to?
That is a good question. I mean, I suppose ultimately that's what we're trying to work out, what the next stage is for the business now. But really, it's delivering on the project effectively and delivering on what we've been asked to do. Really, I mean, we get good sized projects and they're interesting projects, but they need to be manufactured, they need to be installed, and they need to be done correctly. And they need to, we need to fulfill that brief effectively for the people we're working for. So ultimately, that's a bit. It is enjoyable, but it's also the bits that we enjoy in it, I suppose, are ultimately achieving that. Achieving the end result, really, because and if we didn't achieve that end result, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing.
No,
basically, and the challenges associated with that as well.
Yeah, and I guess that's different. That's what sets you apart from, say, a big company like a B&Q coming in doing some interior design, where they've just got that thing that almost comes off of a treadmill, and just lands
completely opposite.
You're making something that you care. It sounds to me like you care about the thing that you're making. It's almost like, I wonder, is it like art that you're making in some way?
I approach it that way. Rick approaches it as though he tries and mechanizes what idiotic solution we've come up with. So it is
keyword there.
Yeah, idiotic. So I mean, ultimately, as I say, there are elements that we're doing now which were a massive challenge to us in the industry when we first started. Like, for example, making it. But now those problems are kind of like not the problems. The problems are now is kind of keeping up to date with whatever the latest trends are, because actually just making the joinery aspect of it is relatively straightforward. We can kind of do that now because we've done it for so many years. But it's working out all the new processes and whether and how we fit into that. So we've ceased to become a furniture manufacturing company, although we are. But what we are now is we're kind of like, for example, there'll be like a liquid metal finish. So do we outsource that or do we try that in-house? So we then have to learn how to do that. Do we outsource the bronzing, or do we learn how to do that? So what we end up becoming is like a specialist finish company, because lots of that stuff we've had to actually train ourselves up to do in-house. I can't remember what question you asked me then, but I'm going off on a tangent. But essentially, that is kind of that's the challenges that we've got now, is really that aspect of it.
So why, Ricky, is it important that we do mechanize a business like this, that we do kind of try and find some structure to it, that isn't just creating a piece of art that's random?
So mainly because I enjoy it. I think I do actually enjoy kind of processes and the idea of actually how things are actually made, and a sequence of how we get to somewhere. I actually really enjoy that. So that's probably why it's kind of happened, really. Mark really enjoys the challenge of doing the projects, whereas I like to kind of systematically work through it and how things are put together. So probably with those two kind of like elements, really, is probably why we do the projects we do, really. Just because we both bring
something to it.
Definitely.
There's kind of like Rick is effectively enables the business to function as a business, and I hopefully enable some background in willing to try new stuff and have a stab at it, and then therefore
that would make me nervous. I'm not really good at. So Mark said about the liquid metals, he's like, we can do this, and I'm just kind of like, well, we can, but can we do it? Whereas Mark would be like, well, let's just get the stuff.
We'll have done one.
By the time I would have, what's the word, procrastinate on that kind of, overthinking it. Now we know it. I know the process, and I can absolutely like put that into what we're doing, really. So yeah, it's a strange blend, really, that kind of works.
It sounds to me like you've got this blend of two different types of personality, but you seem to be protecting each other.
Yeah, we work well together.
And you're protecting the business.
I think you have to. I mean, if you're working as close as we are, I mean, it's unusual we're both sat down quite this close.
Yeah, very close. Yeah.
But I mean,
I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I feel I kind of edge as far away this way as I can do, really. But yeah, I mean, you have to. I mean, and it's not just me and Rick, actually. I mean, not being too behemoth about it, but essentially, like everyone in the business. There's not that many of us. There's like 10 of us, or whatever. Everyone actually has quite a strong skill set within that, and actually, we really rely on those people to do that role. So, whilst you're saying I might be protective of Ricky, I'd also, and they would also be quite, because we all actually have quite an intrinsic pivotal role within what we're doing to bring our skill set to it. You know, there's pretty much 9 things out of the business that I can't do.
Yeah.
And I'll bring my one bit element into it, and then Rick will bring his one bit, and everyone brings their one bit in. And actually, as a whole, we're actually quite a skilled company, and it's quite a good team. But if one of us were asked to do all of it, it would be in serious trouble.
It's a really weird thing. Everyone has something. It's really weird. But it kind of works.
That's what I've been, we started off this conversation talking a bit about the podcast, and that's what I've been discovering with this, that everyone has something to give. I think there's a case of working out what that thing is. That might be quite tough. But everyone has their own unique gift or element that they can bring to the project you're working on, the business that you're growing.
And so for you, I mean, like as you're saying, you kind of started this a couple of years ago, like, everyone, finds something. If you find what you want to do and you can do it, I think then it's a good start, right? But I think where we are, I think we've sort of enabled everyone within the industry or our business to do that. Everyone we've left just to their own devices. They found their bit that they can fit into it, and then it's really ad hoc and it's totally undisciplined and there's no structure to it whatsoever. But it does kind of work.
But it works.
Yeah, it's strange actually. The more you say it, the more actually odd it sounds. But yeah, it just works for us. So.
And so tell me a little bit, I'm really interested to hear where this business started. Where was the beginning for you guys? I'm guessing.
Well, the beginning for me was, I mean, I always say that I was kind of useless at everything else, but I mean, ultimately that's probably true to a certain degree. But I was interested in, furniture, as in making stuff. I was interested in raw time work. I did kind of like some blacksmithing. I went to like art school. I went to kind of, I went down that route. So I was kind of very much down that way. And then in the end, I was working as evenings and weekends at a furniture company in South London. Kind of that developed. I kind of fell into this category of doing stuff. And then ultimately, really, probably where the business started from the point of view where we are now is that we happened to just fall in with some people who started doing interior design. And because we fell into that category of doing interior design, and I think we ended up meeting them, on a birthday away in Wales one weekend for a friend of a friend, and they didn't like walking and I didn't like walking. Me and my wife and him and his wife, we kind of like paired up on the view that we were just like, look, we're going to have to go up Snowdon. We'll just do it. We'll try and do the easy way. And everyone else went off and did this way. And as we got chatting, it kind of developed into the fact that they did interior design. We started working, and it kind of their place in the market and us fitting into that, it kind of pulled us forward.
It was quite a seamless thing, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah. And then Rick obviously started from the point of view that he then, as we started growing, Rick took on as an apprentice. He was the first apprentice, and then Rick then brought his friend, and then it just kind of naturally just grew from there, really.
So I find that really interesting that a business can start from a walk up Snowdon.
Well, it had started before then, but actually, as far as the structure of what the business is and where we'd have taken it, it was totally unstructured, and we would have probably been like a lot of joinery companies out there where they specialize in joinery. Actually, what we got sucked into and kind of developed is actually the interior design world, and it's a different market, it's a different way of doing things. And because we got pulled into that world, we then end up being quite specialized, just because by nature of the fact we were just doing it and we were there quite early on. So we got kind of pulled into that world of how to do stuff. But then prior to that, slightly before that, I was doing lots of like bar fit outs in London. So we're doing kind of like Ronnie Scott, Raymond Review Bar, kind of like Breakfast Club, loads of stuff around Soho. So I did that for quite a long time, and actually probably that ad hoc way of approaching lots of creative ways and solutions to those kind of like bar fit outs probably has a massive, lent itself massively to what we're doing now, because obviously lots of stuff now is the interior design world coming up with new ways of doing stuff. And actually, rather than just going, oh, that's going to be difficult, we won't try that, I'm happy to try stuff because of all the background of all the stupid stuff we did in the bars in London of developing stuff. And therefore, it kind of tailed into that. But what I needed, which is where Rick came in, was someone to basically hold it all together and actually kind of mechanize it and work out how it could be done as a business.
So how did you find Rick? How did you come into this business, Rick?
So I was actually studying carpentry to get 3 years to actually, I wanted to go and study to be an architect. So I was trying to get my 3 years out of it. And it just so happened that there was job applications. They used to go around and give out the paperwork for the jobs and stuff. And one come in, and it wasn't what it was described. It said, oh, kitchen fitting or something along those lines. But there wasn't a lot of people interested in it. But then I saw the name of the company. I thought I'll have a look at that. Saw it was something. It wasn't quite what was on the paperwork, really. Like, so Mark probably put it together. So the admin was pretty terrible on it.
Probably just cobbled together something and just thought that I'd do. Yeah.
So I just thought, well, no one's going to go for it. My mum at the time was like, you need to start doing stuff now. I was like, well, I'm going to try and do this and this and this anyway. So I thought, so I phoned him up, went to the workshop, met Mark, who basically told me that,
Yeah, be careful what you say now.
I
felt the pause there.
Yeah, I was just going to think about.
I probably said something like, "This is shit."
Yeah, it was basically, "This is really shit. You don't want to be doing this." And I was like, "Well, it looks quite interesting. It looked really so." And there was a really nice kitchen at the time that Mark was making, and it was really like high-end joinery. It felt like it was definitely handmade. I thought, well, that's quite cool actually. So then, Mark didn't want to answer his phone, so I phoned again. Didn't want to answer his phone. Phoned again. We went on for a while until eventually said, well, come down then. And we went to a little pub round the corner, and we kind of discussed what what he was doing and stuff, and kind of went from there really. But we was definitely like mucking around for a good couple of years. There's a lot of like,
a lot of mistakes. And lots of learning and stuff like that, wasn't there, early on? And we weren't kind of like in a pocket within the market. We were just kind of doing any project that came in. So it kind of, and we were learning, and we were very early stages of what we were doing. So I think it was probably quite a difficult time from that point of view.
It was great. It's definitely like the product, the kitchens actually right at the beginning were really, really nice, like really handmade. Mark definitely like did some serious hours and effort in making stuff. But it was almost like, even though it was a business, it was almost like a hobby. Mark was building stuff because he actually enjoyed making stuff. So from that point of view, it never really...
Which is still the case now, really.
It's definitely still the case now,
It's still that format. It's still kind of like, I enjoy the process of making stuff.
Yeah.
And Rick still, luckily, likes the process of how to kind of like mechanize and make that so that we can do it again.
Yeah.
Rather than just... But I like the challenge of kind of... at that time, it was all chaotic. Like,
very chaotic.
Mental hours... if someone said, "Can you do this?" It'd be like, "Yes," and then we just kind of like work through the nights, and it was just like full on. And I suppose also that came a lot from doing the bar work and stuff like that, where it's just 100% all the time until the project's finished. But running a business like that for a period of 15 or 20 years is impossible, right? So
it was.
How long was that period of time when it was like that, when it was all chaotic? How long did that go on?
About 3 or 4 years.
We did, we did
3, 4, 5 years, something like that.
We did like we did a rebrand, so I can't remember how long ago that was, but we did a rebrand where we basically took on a new logo, a new website. And from that moment, I feel that's when it kind of went, right, this feels different. I think it went from a different era. For me personally, it did. It geared up to be something different. It went for me from like DIY kind of making like really, really nice, beautiful items to then being like, okay, well, maybe we can actually do this as a business. And
I think the product we're putting out was fine, but the approach to how we were doing it and how we were working was definitely ad hoc.
Yeah.
So how do you feel when you look back on that time, when you look back on that moment of struggle, making all the mistakes and working all the hours? You enjoyed it?
I like the chaos, and I like the challenge.
Yes.
Rick's probably the opposite,
No, I don't like that. But it was fun though. It was definitely fun. It was definitely like, well, you even though we're still growing a company, well, trying to grow a company, there was an element of like fun. Like it was new. We was all trying to do things. We was finding different companies. We was finding different ways of making things. For me personally, obviously, I was a lot younger then, so I was like probably like 22, 23. So having an opportunity to go, right, well, Mark's like, well, if you want to do this, let's kind of do this. And, it's kind of an odd approach really, especially like Mark was making stuff to go, well, try and see what happens. And it just so happens that it actually does work. But it was a lot, it was a lot more, like I say, the growth and trying to do stuff was fun.
I wonder if you'd had that moment of like everything changed if you hadn't have gone through the struggle, if you hadn't have gone through the mistakes, if you hadn't have gone through the hard work.
Well, I think it's difficult now where we are. I struggle with the fact that it's difficult to keep that kind of element of it. I think it's important to keep that element of slight chaos and, not necessarily chaos is the right word, but essentially you should try and figure out new ways of approaching things and try new stuff out. It's difficult to keep that element into a business when you're trying to make it more professional, in my view.
Yeah.
Like it's quite difficult to kind of, there's always challenges to what we're doing, and you can get quite serious quite quickly and just kind of and figure stuff out quite quickly. So now where we are as a business, we're actually quite good at being able to kind of like come up with solutions to problems and understand what those problems and solutions are. But almost to me seems like you lose an element of the business because it actually gets quite serious quite quickly, as in like you can just go, right, this is a problem, how do we overcome this? We can outsource it, that person, we know they can do it. I quite like the fact that in the early days the problem would come to you and you'd have to figure it out in the workshop, and I quite like that element. Trying to keep that in the business, don't know whether I'm explaining this, is quite difficult. The bit of excitement, that interest. Because now where we are, it's you start losing that. So it's how to keep that in is, I find, the problem.
It sounds to me like you don't just want to do a business where you're just making money. You want you want to do something that you love, that you enjoy, which is part of your life.
I think Rick does as well. Rick also wants to do that because you don't want to just be in a business which is kind of like just grey and nondescript, right? But also it needs to work. So it's that balance of like, say, me trying to like make it not chaotic but interesting, and Rick also likes that aspect too as well, but it's trying to kind of balance those two things really. Or trying to get a stable core business that's well regarded, that's professional, but also keep it interesting and vibrant, that you kind of are doing these new approaches, new things that's going to work, that doesn't just
I think there's kind of like, when you're doing business, is like a point of, do you want to do this as maybe a hobby, just do the things you love, or do you want it to be your business? And it's finding that balance between the two.
But ours is both, right?
Yeah.
So it's both. So it is what we find interesting, but it's also what we're working in, and we're also now in a situation where we're taking on like big high-end projects, so we've got to deliver. So all of those aspects are true, but it's trying to get all of those to kind of work together and grow the whole thing. That's it's not difficult, it's just something we need to do,
a challenge.
Exactly.
So tell me about some of the things that you're up to at the moment, then, some of the projects you're working on right now.
We've got some really good projects at the moment. We've got
stuff out there, really.
We kind of dip our toe in every now and again to do like some overseas work. So we're kind of there's a project down in the south of France, Cap-on-Tibes, which is kind of like near Nice. There's a beautiful kind of villa that we're doing.
It's absolutely stunning.
The whole fit out down there. So that's coming up shortly. That's been ongoing for a while. I've been chatting to the owner about that for a couple of years actually. So that's a nice project. That'd be really good to photograph. We've got working on a nice project in the Peninsula Hotel, which is kind of in central London. That's really nice. That's an apartment there. So we're working on that at the moment.
Palace Street.
Palace Street.
We've just got some little bits on this one.
That's right next to opposite Buckingham Palace. We've got kind of, I mean, lots of it's showboating, right? But I mean, it's kind of, I mean, we're really lucky. We get some really good projects. We did
really interesting stuff.
A big office fit out in Marble Arch, for one of the big kind of like estate companies there. That was prior to kind of running up to Christmas. And we don't often do high-end commercial work, but actually we kind of got fed that one. And it was a bit different. It was interesting. I mean, lots of our projects are in beautiful homes, really nice setups. We get the opportunity to do like all of the fit out within those homes. Usually, it's a really nice working environment. It's a nice place to work. It's nice people to work for. Nice companies to work for.
Yeah.
You know, there's a small select group of interior designers that we do work for all the time, and they feed us work. So, I mean, you know,
that feeding you work thing, why does that happen? Why does work get fed to you? Because
you just have to deliver, right?
Yeah,
so, I mean, you're working in
delivering, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it something you trust?
Well, I think it's a proven. I think Chordal Green is a proven concept.
Yeah.
It's been tried and tested.
Yeah.
If we got to the end of a project and we hadn't delivered, then it just wouldn't continue. You know,
we do one bad project, you won't be working again. So it's kind of that.
And we do generally really, really try and like care to actually to do it. So that's probably why it's why we work for people.
Yeah, and also, you know, I think you end up building relationship like you do in any industry with people that you work for, right? So I mean, you know, as it turns out, not only do we need to deliver on the project, but also you do end up building a good, strong relationship with the companies that you're working for or alongside or what have you. So, you know, I mean, pretty much all the companies we work for now, we've been working for over 10 years, I think, 10, 15 years. I mean, you know, and, you know, hope over that time we know what they want. They know how we work. We know how they work. And, you know, if you just dropped us into working with, say, another interior design company or another main contractor, which we do, we get projects from people we haven't worked for before. There's always a period, probably over the first project, where you're having to work out all of those things. So it's just easier for us that we know how to work with them. And it's probably easier for them that they know how to work with us. But also underlining all of that is the fact that we'll we'll get that project over the line. And I think actually at a certain level, probably with any industry, with anything, you know, it comes down to there's probably so many companies that will work at a certain level and get something done. And if you can prove that you can do that repeatedly, and, you know, then you're going to get the work. That's it. It's that simple, I suppose.
So I haven't got much personal experience with a company like yourselves, but I have with other tradespeople. And one thing that I've found difficult over the years is communication. I see as a consumer, I see that quite a lot. Communication can be quite bad. Do you see it within the industry at all? That's an issue?
It probably is it depends. I mean, again, you know, not wanting to but I think where we are, because our company is it's a small company. It's quite a kind of one-off bespoke service. It's kind of quite unique in the environment of the fact that you're dealing with Ricky or you're dealing with me.
Yes.
So therefore, we haven't got like a phone. We haven't got like an admin team where, you know, you'll phone up and you'll speak to like BT and you could go through one of the 2000. It's just totally opposite end of the spectrum. So, you know, again, from their point of view or from our client's point of view, they know if there's a problem or they need to go through something or there's something to be resolved or whatever, then it's going to be me on site, it's going to be Ricky on site, or, you know, whoever's fitting the job is the same fitters, because we fit everything. It's going to be the people who've manufactured it in the workshop. It's a very tailored industry. It's like going to get your suit fitted or something, you know. So ultimately, you know who the tailor is. Not that I've ever had a suit fitted, but I'd imagine, you know, you're going to know who he is, or they are, or whatever, and you're going to know how that service has worked and how things put together. And it's the same with us, because we're so small and so kind of such a small family business. Then ultimately they'll pick up the phone and speak to me, or they'll pick up the phone and speak to Rick, or like, you know, we'll go to site tomorrow. We're going to 3 jobs tomorrow. You know, we'll go down there. We'll go through what needs to be done. We'll have a chat with them. go through with the main contractor or whoever's running the project, and we'll feed that information back, and it'll be one of the team doing it, so everyone's known basically.
Yeah,
so there's not a problem.
So Ricky, I was just wondering, what does your typical day look like as you wake up? What is it when you get up in the morning and you start your day and you're going to go out to these 3 projects? What
running around after me?
is that what it is?
Yeah. Turn up all loose ends.
Yeah.
I don't. Every day is so different. But typically, what we do is we'd come to the workshop first. Everyone's there, so obviously see my brothers, see Mark, see Josh, we see and then we do like a chat and we go through what we're doing. It's usually quite laid back in the mornings, so and then we'd set ourselves up and then we'd go. So we'd either go by train or car or van, and we just go out to see the jobs. Always, it's a strange thing, but all the jobs are always in quite a close. They're quite close to each other, so you can kind of just do the train lines and just get to them, and walk in, see people, meet the contractor, maybe the interior designer, have a look at an issue that I might have seen myself that I want to double check. Just basically just kind of rolled around London really, which it sounds really fun, which is quite fun actually.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah. So yeah, it's and then we come back and we'd I'd see the boys, go through with what they're up to. It's like I say, it's quite a laid back environment really. So then do a bit of admin and stuff. So yeah, it's every day is different. Today obviously we're meeting you, and then we'll be going back. We'll be going through stuff with Alex, just kind of catching up. Then maybe we'll go and see Courtney. She's in the coffee shop. It's just so it's a strange thing that it's so different now. Every day today is very different.
I mean, fundamentally, though, you run, in essence, Rick will run the projects. It's kind of what
I was trying to get to. Yeah, I'd run the project. Yeah, I'd run the project.
Make sure the workshop are doing. Make sure the drawings are done. Make sure the work's been done in the workshop, what's happening this week, what's happening next week, where we are in the projects, what we need to get to, what we need to achieve by the end of the week, all that sort of stuff.
Day to day of just the projects really, and just
my role's a little bit more fluid now.
So what does your role look like now? What's that fluidness like then? How does I
mean, basically my role effectively is to be kept out of the way of everyone else really, I suppose. Ultimately, if they could give me a broom and get me stood in the corner, that's pretty much where I'm at.
That'd be handy.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I suppose I'm kind of effectively front facing, not that we have that much front facing, but I mean chatting to clients, again, same thing, going to projects, I overview kind of like the quotations, I overview kind of like what projects are coming up. I kind of go through with the workshop if there's elements of the project that they don't know or don't understand, how we can approach that. It's probably a little bit more of a kind of a role where I'm kind of hopefully giving some background knowledge and competence of the industry and then they kind of just fulfill doing it. But if I get in the workshop and dare to pick up a tool or try and do something, then I get shuffled out. But I still do quite a lot of fitting and still do quite a lot of installation stuff.
It's true. That is actually that's quite a fair comment. It's like it's just having that experience and the confidence really. I think that might definitely brings like 100% is if there's something that I'm kind of like struggling with to get my head around or something, we can just literally just thrash it out, and we usually come up with quite a good solution quite quickly really. And then it's usually dealt with. So that I think that level of just experience of just confidence, of just being confident in doing stuff really.
It's just willing to chuck yourself forward and do something really.
Yes.
I think I think that's key in any industry, but certainly in ours, where, as I say, a lot of every single project will have something new. You've got to be able to just go like, we need to work that out.
Yeah.
We need to work out how to do it. We need to do it ourselves. We need to learn how to do it. You've got to be able to do that, I think, really.
Why does that help it grow? Why does that help the business move forward, having that confidence like that?
I don't know whether it helps the business move forward, but it certainly helps us do the projects. I mean, I don't think it helps as in a business structure of actually growing a business, but it certainly is necessary for what we do within the market of what we're doing, because basically you have to, as I say, they're developing different textures, different materials, different solutions to problems, because the interior designers and the architects are selling stuff to their clients. So obviously when they're selling stuff, they want to bring new stuff into it, because obviously, presumably, their role is to make each project look new and feel current and use all the latest materials and stuff. So they need to upsell what they're doing, and then obviously they then hand it to us. So we then need to make and deliver on that stuff. So I suppose ultimately, you know, if it was down to, well, I mean, it sounds, I say this, but it's total rubbish. But if it's down to me, we'd just build square boxes. But obviously, we wouldn't, because there'd be no challenge to it. We'd be bored straight away. But I mean, if it was down to us, there'd be like no curves. There'd be no like, you know, bronzing materials. There'd be no metal work. You know, because you could just make easy IKEA stroke boxes, and you could have a really easy, clean manufacturing process, and it'd be a very straightforward business. I mean, it'd be mind-numbingly boring, but you could do that, right? But obviously, we are led by what people are giving us to do, so you have to stand up to, you know, you have to kind of like step up to it and work out what those are, and you're not given the opportunity just to sit back, because they're always, the people working for us are always at the forefront, or are at the forefront of design and what's happening, so they're trying to break down all of these design things and design looks and feels, so we're having to follow on with that, really, and that's not really any choice in that.
So if I was a customer of yours and I came to you and I said I wanted this completely circular kitchen,
I'd say absolutely not.
Well, is that the first?
No, I would say of course we can. Of course we can. Yeah, no, 100%. No, yeah. I mean, basically, I mean, to a certain degree, we will try anything. So if you wanted to totally, I mean, we have done circular stuff before. We do try and avoid stuff with circles because it's a lot more difficult than stuff with straight edges. But yeah, I mean, we generally will try everything. And I think the only thing that we don't dip our toe in for manufacturing wise is glass. We do definitely outsource all our glass, but metalwork, you know, anything, any woodwork, any different finishes, whatever comes up, we kind of generally do it ourselves. But yeah, if you approach me asking for a circular kitchen, we'd obviously say, yes, that would be lovely, thank you very much. Then internally we'd be like, oh my God, we've got a bloody circular kitchen. But,
I guess a lot of that comes down to the cost of the customer, what they can afford to pay for. Because if they want something more complicated, then there's going to be a higher cost to it.
There is, but I mean, also again, luckily, I mean, again, it depends what you want from a business, but from our point of view, we don't tend to have that many private customers.
Right.
I mean, we the customer we're working for in the south of France, she happens to be a private customer. That's one this year. We don't. Most of our work is all fed through like interior designers and or architects and or main, you know, kind of construction company. So they tend to find the client. They tend to have a remit of what the job is. Certainly the interior designers find the client. They then do the design process, and they effectively then, which is why we like working for them, they then say, well, you know, please build that. And then really because we're quite small, we don't really, I mean, we might try and do something different going forward in the future, but at the moment where we have stood is the fact that we didn't have time to have, you know, a front of face kind of talking to clients, because it takes so much time and the design process takes so much time, the development materials and choices and look and feel of the project. So really from our point of view, we kind of had a line drawn where we let all of the interior designers and the architects do that. They then hand it to us, and we just need to deliver on manufacturing it and installing it.
The technicalities of actually building what they propose. And actually all the materials, and we actually try and do a lot of stuff in-house. So the metalwork over the last couple of years, been trying to, we developed how he's going to do that, the suppliers, and how, so anything they kind of, like I say, we do the technical side of what they put together, really.
But saying that, and just turn that entire thing up on its head, what we have done in the last couple of years now is we now have a showroom, small showroom, which we built on the side of the workshop. We now have a coffee shop. I don't know quite why we started that, but we did, because they roast coffee on the farm. So we thought that'd be nice. So we kind of made our own coffee shop. So the staff now love it. Obviously, when I say staff, we all love it.
Okay.
Because obviously in the morning everyone can come and have coffee and whatever. But what we're going to try and do, I think, going forward now is we are going to try and start doing our own range I think going forward of like kitchens and joinery.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to now work out how we approach that, because we are going to have some dialogue with private clients, and we're going to have to start getting people from the high streets come and have a chat with us and see if we can get some work that way. Whereas we've definitely hidden behind the interior designer and the architects previously for the last 10 or 15 years. I think going forward now,
time to move in.
we're trying to we want to keep that business because it's really nice working there. But then touching on what you started off this with, which is, you know, where we're going with the business. That Albury House Interiors is an offshoot of that, which is where we have the showroom, which is homewares and stuff. Then we've got the coffee shop, which is also part of that, which is an offshoot of that. We might try and dip a toe into the high street and have some coffee shops on the high street. We also want to develop, as I say, like kitchen range joinery, and actually start getting our own private clients and try and develop that side of the business now. Because I think where we've been in the industry for so long, hopefully we have something we can offer people. And I think we can start going down that route now. So we're probably over the next 10 years, I think are going to try and grow towards being a bit more front of house, which is part of the reason we're sat here, because it's the first thing we've done like this.
Okay, great.
And we're starting to look at our marketing, which we've never done before. We've never done any advertising, any branding. We've been totally hidden. So what we're doing now is we're stepping our toe into trying to get into where, you know, people can actually visibly see us and start actually marketing and branding who we are as a company. And that hopefully will then, you know, maybe get us some kitchen work and some private client work and some homewares work business and go from.
So there's lots of different offshoots that you're moving into.
That's the plan. Yeah.
So what's the overall hope and dream then moving forward then?
That is a big question.
It is. It's huge.
It's a big question. I mean, I think ultimately, for me, Rick and I we do kind of like step quite closely with each other, what we kind of think and feel the business should be.
Yeah.
Number one at our core is Chordal Green and what we do and who we work for. And I don't think either of us want to change that, because I think we're lucky to be in this position. We're lucky to work in the sector we work in, and for the people we work for and where we work. So I think that's always going to stay there. It'd be nice to, as I say, grow some offshoots off that and use our kind of like depth of knowledge and our experience in what we do day to day, and start growing some, you know, a local, say for example, Verticom's kitchen showroom maybe, or also the Albury House Interiors that started 3 or 4 years ago. That's going really well. That's kind of homewares. It'd be nice to just locally grow some independent aspects of what we do as a business and keep them quite central to how we've done Chordal Green, which is kind of like quite small, quite approachable, skilled, and kind of like, you know, have a small business ethics to all of those bits, but effectively just see if we can have some offshoots and grow some little bits around the core of Chordal Green. Is roughly, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
And how do you see that working?
I think it's going to be really exciting, actually, especially developing. We're doing it at the moment. We're kind of working on new logos, new branding, and just a different approach to what we've ever done. Really, it's definitely out of our comfort zone. And the reason I say it's out of our comfort zone is because we're kind of really putting ourselves out there now. Like, you know, we are so back of house. It's kind of just
it's time to say hello world.
We need to find a personality. That's going to be difficult. Right?
Okay, it's really difficult for Mark. It's really hard to like.
We find something interesting to talk about. We do need to work out how we're going to put ourselves forward. So I mean,
well, I think you guys are doing a good job here today. You've got a lot of knowledge.
You have to say that.
I don't know. No, you don't. You've got a lot of industry knowledge. You know what you're doing. You've got the experience. You're here and putting yourself in front of the world and saying, we know how to do this. We know how to do this job.
We know how to do the job. We don't know how to do this bit of the job. This bit we don't understand. But I think
this bit is very simple. It's about being you.
Right.
That's what you guys are doing.
Well, I thought that would be the problem.
Well, maybe there must be some other aspects to it.
Oh, there are. But essentially, it comes down to, and I think the world of social media and the way the whole media industry is changing, I think at core it comes down to authenticity. I think that's how it's changed. We had a lot of fakery for a while, where everyone was like showing off and pretending life is different. But we've all become so aware of that now. We've become aware of that within advertising.
Yeah.
You're turned off to it, whereas you're drawn into that truth.
Yeah,
is what I see.
Yeah, fine. Well, there's definitely no veneer of rubbish going on with us too. I think essentially, I'm quite happy to kind of like be as upfront, as honest as we need to be with stuff. I think really.
Yeah.
But no, it's good. It's really interesting to see how we go forward with this and how we kind of do this approach.
Yeah.
What comes off it?
It's exciting.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. Like Ricky's saying, it's quite exciting. I think when you look at something new, and maybe go back to a little bit of that stuff that you had before of discovery, of making a few mistakes along the way, and finding your way. I've for sure done that the last few years with this podcast, and I think that's why I've enjoyed this so much, and why you enjoyed starting this business up.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, it's been good fun actually. Well, it is good fun. Nice.
So I feel like we've had a great conversation here about what you guys are doing. Got one last question for you both, though. Hypothetical. Fine. Okay. If we could go back in time to that moment when you two first met. And
I've got the answer to that.
Name what you know now. What advice would you give to each other?
Oh wow.
Oh god.
I mean, I think my advice would be just shut up, really.
Yeah.
to Ricky.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a tough one because it just worked. So it's like changing something. It'd just be.
I think unfortunately, where we are and what we're doing now, as painful as it seems to be, I think almost you have to go through all the stuff that we've done right and wrong in order to get to where we are. And I don't think there's any advice, because almost you need to make all those. Not all mistakes. A lot of stuff we do isn't just mistakes. I like that for the camera. But I mean, I think you just have to do what you do, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't think there is any advice.
It's been organic, isn't it?
If someone had told me, I wouldn't have listened anyway. So, I mean, we might have done.
Yeah, I might have done. I was just going back to thinking, like, what would I have done? I probably would have just turned around and said, "See you later, Mark."
Exactly. Could
have been an architect.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, I'd just be in a shed somewhere, just doing something, bonkers. But I mean, good question. No idea. I think I'd let it fall out how it's fallen out. Really,
Don't change a thing.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's been too much of a fun experience really to change anything really.
Yeah,
especially we know what we're quite experienced with what we know now. I think it's been really. I think it's actually been doing quite fun, actually.
Yeah, there has been lots of. Yeah, there have been. I think to go back and actually give you some, some awareness of what you were going to do or how to approach things differently and possibly approach them correctly straight off. You wouldn't have kind of like learned how. You wouldn't have gone through the mistakes and you learn from those. So I think actually, just let it run as it's run. I think really.
Yeah, there's quite a human element to
very human element
to this industry, definitely.
Yeah,
I don't think you could have changed that ever. I think you just
I don't know if it's depressing or positive.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it sounds positive to me.
I feel like crying now.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's been good. It's good.
Good. Well, thank you both for sharing. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
And if anyone has been watching or listening, where can they find you guys?
They can go and rate you.
I better do this bit.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's on obviously the social media. So we've got Chordal Green, which is Chordal Green, and that's on Instagram. And then we've also got Albury House Interiors on Instagram. We're hoping to maybe start a YouTube channel, maybe just like a day in the life of people in the workshop. Sorry. Courtney's trying to do TikTok, which is obviously the Albury House is a lot more laid back. Her approach to it, which is actually quite nice. She's got some really good content, and that's also Albury House Interiors on TikTok. So we'll see how it goes. Really, that's where you can find us.
Excellent. I'll be sure to add it in the comments below, all the relevant links.
Yeah, fine. And obviously
coffee shop. They will pop down.
Coffee shop.
If they happen to be near, near kind of this area,
Okay.
then they're very welcome to come down.
Where's the coffee shop? Because I love a coffee. So.
Yeah, well, it's next to the village is called Matching Tie, so it's near Matching Tie, which is just outside Harlow.
Nice.
But it's right next to the workshop. So we've got the workshop, then we kind of built the showroom on the back of the workshop, and now we've got a coffee shop. So we're kind of like doing a little bit of a farm.
I'm hoping to do some networking groups. We really, really want to do some interior design networking groups, local communities, people coming down, local businesses. So that's the next thing we're going to try and push forward, and that'll be on the socials as well, hopefully.
Great. I look forward to seeing it.
Brilliant.
And if anyone has been watching or listening, thank you for joining us for this conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers.
Well done.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
No problem.
Brilliant. That was really good.
Yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah.